have to have the conversation with people.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening to and watching Bias Unexcused. I am Kimberly Lindsay. I am the Silver Vixen voice, and we are talking about feminine realness today. Denise Banks,
founder of Women Building Wealth Globally, also authored Gladiator in the Skirt, 60-day gratitude journal. And then I'm really excited this year, I am launching Gladiator Professional Development Company. And so I'm super excited about that. I'll be giving more details about that as we get ready to prepare for the grand opening. That's just a little bit about me. Happily married to Mr. Brian Banks, grandmother and a mother, and just enjoying life and feeling really blessed at a blessed time in my life right now. This is truly my winning season. So just happy to be here.
That's amazing. And I'm so proud of you. And I look forward to everything we're going to do this year because I'm standing behind you the whole time. So
yes,
I know a lot of the things, well, everything that you do really is with Gladiator in a Skirt is geared toward helping propel women, right? In a lot of aspects, teaching financial literacy, emotional literacy, just you're an advocate for femininity. Really. Absolutely. And so I want to ask you, there are a couple things when we meet each other and you notice that a woman maybe has an issue that she's dealing with, do you feel like as a woman that you have the responsibility to help heal women?
I think we have a responsibility as women to unconditionally care about each other. Now, in a perfect world, I think it should be okay to approach another woman. Nowadays, we don't even want to approach a woman just to say, your blouse may be undone, or, even if it's something as simple as, maybe tweaking the, the hair a little bit. Yeah. But we're so reserved now to being open enough to approach another woman to feel like it is our responsibility to make sure that she's on point, to make sure that she knows she's beautiful, but something, maybe I need to bring it to her attention. And I think the question is, when did it get to that point to where we no longer feel like, I am my sister's keeper? I should be able to go to Kimberly and say, Kimberly, fix your belt loop. You missed the belt loop in the back. But we are reserved now to do that. Number one, because so much going on in the world, and women have so many different emotional feelings and things that they deal with on a day-to-day basis, that you don't know what they're going through. You don't know where they are in a point in their lives. Are they approachable? My sister was just recently sharing with me this very thing that happened to her a few weeks ago at work. She was just walking on the back of her shoes because that's just what she wanted to do. She was tired. She's walking on the back of her tennis shoes, and this girl behind her, she came up to my sister and she said, Miss Nikki, you was walking on the back of those nice shoes. And I'm pretty sure the girl was just being friendly, friendly, but also, you're walking on the back of your shoes. And my sister snapped before she knew anything. She turned around and she snapped and went off on her. And she called me and she said, do you think I overreacted? I said, I think you did, because I don't think the girl, she didn't mean anything negative, because she was friendly in her approach. She was somebody that liked you, and you could tell that she just really wanted to make sure that that you knew that you were walking on the shoes. And she said, well, maybe I should go back and apologize, because she said, I just get really tired. Sometimes females, we're so judgmental of each other's, rather than uplifting and empowering each other, we're tearing and destroying each other down. So automatically the defense mechanism go up. We're going to the self-protection mode. And so that's where a lot of us are, Kimberly, often today. And so you may feel okay approaching a person that looks approachable. And what do we look for in approachable women? A smile, right. It's a certain demeanor that we see in each other that says, I can approach her and I know she'll be okay with it. And oftentimes some of us, we walk around because we've been through so much and we're going through so much that people have torn us down so much. And we're in this defense stage all the time that we're not approachable because we've got this hard look on our face of unhappiness, of depression and anxiety and everything. So it's hard for someone to maybe even approach you, even if they feel like they have of that responsibility. Like I know that there's been times where I know you can approach me and you've said to me once before, now, Denise, calm down, you're gonna be okay. Don't stress over that so much, you'll be okay. But you know, it just depends, Kim. I think where we are, even in our own self-confidence, do I feel like I'm confident to even approach this person, whether I feel like I have that responsibility or not?
And I think that really goes to the reason I even have these conversations is the bias. Because if I see you looking a particular way, like the young lady, however she saw Nikki that day at work, whatever demeanor she thought Nikki might have, she didn't have a bias against Nikki, saying it didn't dawn on her to not approach. And I think even with what's going on, I think a lot of times what I'm going through, I project onto other people, or what you're going through, you may project onto someone else. And then that's what causes the bias, you know?
Absolutely.
If I feel like I'm having a hard time and I'm stressed and my attitude may not be right, I may not approach another woman because I am putting my bias onto her. And so that's part of the problem. We have to address the bias in our society, and it happens everywhere. And people feel like if it's not a racism bias, if it's not a sexist bias, then it's not important. But bias in any way can cause us to not communicate well with each other.
We already feel that way about ourselves, and we project that onto another person. You're going to get that same thing in turn, even if that person that you're approaching is a positive person. But through your projection and through your manifestation of, you know, what's going to happen or what you're putting out there, you will turn that person's view around and it's going to match yours. You're going to get it right back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that brings me to my next question, because, you know, you said we've gotten to a point as women where a lot of times we aren't even comfortable pointing things out to one another that could make us better.
Right.
So I know a lot of women say, well, I don't deal with women, or I have better relationships with men, or you can't trust women, or I just don't build relationships with other women. What do you believe about the woman who believes that she can't get along with other women?
I believe, honestly, Kimberly, that when we feel that way about other women, and most oftentimes, I think when we feel that way, we've already prejudged the situation. It's already a predetermined thought. And so when we meet other women, regardless of the situation, the environment, the surroundings, whether it's at work, at church, at an event, wherever, you just at the gym working out, you've already have this decision in your mind that you just don't get along with women. You only get along with men, or you always have something negative to say about other women. You see every flaw in other women that you don't see in your own self. I think a lot of that, it has to do with a self-esteem women, or is rooted in so much distrust because we've been hurt by other women. Because we feel like we've been betrayed, even something as small or as big as being bullied. I remember feeling that way my own self for years, where I just, you know, I didn't think I could get along with other women. I always felt like they judged me, and it's because of things that are so deeply rooted in trauma that's happened in our own lives. And sometimes it comes from family members. I know when I was younger, I was very hairy. I always had hair on my arms and legs, and I never wanted to go to school in short sleeves. I would beg my mom to please shave the hair off my arms, because my brothers would tease me about it and call me Harry the monster, or I was the tallest girl in my class and they would call me too tall, and you're taller than some of the boys. Them not realizing what that did to me as a child, you know. So growing up, if people teased me about this, or if they mentioned it to me, you know, they're talking about me. I don't want to get along with them. People treat you different, but we start judging each other, you know, at an early age. And so then as we become adults, we feel like we don't get along with women. And sometimes it's for reasons that's not even really what it is. It's a lot of times it's about us. A lot of times it's about the level of esteem that we have for ourselves and this low self-esteem. And so we develop this hard shell, and we're so hardcore that we put out all the negative energy. You know, you'll see sometimes people on Facebook, sometimes women post such harsh things. I'm that B and I'm that blind. I don't mess with chicks and I don't F with that. A lot of times, all that harsh attitude, it's just signs of low self-esteem.
100%. I had an experience recently, myself and two other ladies. We were having a lot of conversation. And so one of the young ladies who had served us was there. And she said, you know, she was a young Black girl. And she said, you know, it's really good to see you ladies, you know, having this kind of interaction with each other. She said, because I don't see it in my life. I don't get along with women.
Yes.
And I said, sweetheart, I asked her name, because anytime I'm notorious for giving people unwarranted advice. I just do.
Well,
So before I do, I asked her name and I introduced myself and I said, you know, I have to be honest with you. The fact that you say that you don't get along well with other women, or you're not able to have relationships with other women, means that there is probably an issue within you. It's not the other women that you meet all the time. There's something you're bringing into these situations that makes it unhealthy or uncomfortable.
Right.
And she took it. I hope she took it with love. She didn't respond badly, but everything you said is true. I believe that we project a bias onto other people based on what we felt, what we experienced, or what we've done to other people.
Right.
Because if you've raked women over the coals and called everybody bad names, you just assume that that's how people behave. That's how other women will behave. And that's not true.
That's not true.
It's a bias that we have to get over, but that causes us to look at ourselves in the mirror, you know?
Yeah. And you approaching her and being that open and bold and confident in who you are, to be able to even tell her that. Can you imagine what that made her feel like? It made her have to face self-accountability. It made her have to look at, well, you know, maybe Kimberly is right. But because of the way you did it, because of the way you communicated, conveyed that to her, anybody else could have told her that, and she you know, it could have been, you know, it could have been a fight. Yes, it's been a fight. It could be a fight. But the fact that she was open, and that's the number one thing, is being open to receive it. But some of us are in a place, Kim, that we've, like I was saying, we've been hurt so much, and as you speak, is the bias and projecting that on the other people. We're closed. The most expensive thing a person will ever own is a closed mind. But she was open enough to listen to you and to hear you, and you never know how that impacted her. That could have been the very beginning of her seeing something different, you know, maybe seeing, maybe, just maybe, you know, there's some possibility. Maybe there's an opportunity, a possibility that I could really turn this thing around. You know, if I wanted to, if I got around people like Kimberly. A lot of times we're stuck around the environment in which we live in, we operate, and that's how we function. So sometimes sometimes it's just about changing your circle.
The goal is to shine light on everyday bias to help us see each other differently.
So sometimes you just have to surround yourself with that which you want to attract. And that's why I like being around you, Kimberly. That's why I follow you.
Well, I appreciate it. That's true. I mean, we control the energy around us, and a lot of, I hope that was the start of something better for that young lady, because I have multiple circles of female friends that I've had long-term, 20, 30 plus years. And it just amazes me that I used to think I was so lucky to know so many good women. And then I realized through women like yourself and other women who care for me, that it's not a coincidence that you are around good people. you put out the energy
That's right.
that gets you back that energy. So it's
Right.
it's not a coincidence. That's what we do. We create that
Yes.
energy.
Absolutely. The greatest law in the universe is the law of attraction.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I want to ask you about femininity and being feminine. Okay.
Mhm.
And I want to know, when we go out into the world and we are our true feminine selves, do you feel like femininity is a weakness?
I think that there has to be a balance. I think that there are times, let me just say this. Right now, for women, it's a great time to be a woman. So if we are, anytime we want to look up success, there's a picture of a woman somewhere. There's a picture of a Black woman somewhere, which makes it even more phenomenal.
Yes.
So with all of that success, sometimes it's, the impact and that residual effect of all that success it's going to make us want to be more successful. It's going to give us more confidence, and it's going to make us, stand up straight. Sometimes our masculinity comes out. Yeah. And so sometimes people may think it's too much. Sometimes people may think it's a turn off. It may show that some people think, it's too much of being like a man. You need to tone it down a little bit, because for women, it may not be a cute look, but sometimes it's necessary depending on the situation. For men, they may think it's too much. They want to see more femininity from women. And I don't think it's a weakness at all to show your femininity. Let's just, for an example, in a relationship, the man wants to know that he is the strong one in the relationship. He wants to be the protector. In my own marriage, okay, I'm strong head, I'm strong mind, I'm strong will, I'm a business entrepreneur, and so is my husband. He's military. So he needs to show that he is the protector, he is the provider. His masculine energy is what makes him feel like I'm the protector. I protect her. And when he feels like that, it allows me to move in my femininity, which is not a bad thing, because it attracts more. And we can be feminine and we can say the same things. We can say it harsh or we can say it soft and still get our point across. So I believe it's not a weakness or a challenge. In actuality, you can actually get more by showing your femininity and still moving in and out of spaces and getting the results that we want in any situation. We don't always have to be the loudest one or the hardest one or the most competitive one to get a point across or to get anything that we want, any goal, any manifestation that we want. We don't have to go toe to toe with a guy or with another woman.
Yeah. Well, you said that perfectly, and that leads me into my next question. I saw spoken with your husband, and I know you, so I know the answer, and you just kind of led us into it. But I was going to ask, does your femininity leave room for masculine energy? So
if your energy matches your husband's energy all the time, there is no room for anything. You don't give him room to be the man, because you're doing everything that the man should be doing. You're handling the situations, you're paying the bills, you're controlling everything, you're making all of the decisions. And so where now, after all of that, what's left to give? You have no femininity to give. And some women, even in the bedroom, it can cause chaos. You can see arguments. People have more. If you look at some of the reasons that couples have a lot of arguments and challenges, and oftentimes I bet you'll see in almost every situation, the energies, the masculine and feminine energies, they're like right here. So somebody has to know when to level up and when to bring it down a notch. And so for me, what it looks like is I know my role and Brian knows his role. I'm not going into HOV because that's not my lane, at that particular time. So you know your lanes, and then we know the triggers. But this comes over time, building relationships and the energy, the masculine and feminine energy. It has everything also to do with communications, not what you say, but how you say it. Because we as women can say some things, and it can trigger something. Next thing you know, you got an argument going. It can start out over a disagreement over a bill.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, it's going to be paid this way. He's saying, no, I'm going to pay it this way. Before you know it, here comes my masculine energy matching his masculine energy. But you get to a point to where you learn how to communicate with each other. You learn how to effectively listen to each other. I always say that's why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, because sometimes we should be listening more than we're talking. It goes for both, man and woman, feminine and masculine energy. You listen, you agree to disagree, and then you can be in a happy place where he is so attracted to your femininity that you end up getting anything you want anyway, without arguing, without feeling like you got to challenge him. And hey, I got as much masculine energy as you. And then that will also, because men have feminine energy, and that will cause them also to let their guard down. And again, Kimberly, you still get everything that you want. And at the end of the day, you're still happy. You're attracted to each other, and you just, really make that, you can really make magic together. And some people don't believe it's true, but it is. You see some couples, they get along really good. They both hold strong positions, but they know when to play and how to play their roles, and they respect the lanes that they travel in. Yeah. And so that's what it looks like for me.
I'm telling you say some very thought-provoking things, and that's something that's really big for me right now is trying to reverse or rethink the way that we interact with and view our Black men. Mm-hmm. Because they have been put in a space where they don't feel that it's safe to be vulnerable or to, and yes. So I really want to and open up the lines of conversation so that we aren't so biased against men. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to close with the last question that I have for you. And this is a question that people ask often. And when I'm asked this, I never really know what the answer is for myself. So I want to ask you this. What is your greatest strength?
I think my greatest strength, Kimberly, is the ability to choose to love, to choose to be happy. And what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it.
I love it. That's an amazing answer. And I know that it's true because I experience it. That's how I experience you. So I'm gonna work on what my answer would be for me so that I can be clear with it the next time somebody asks me that.
What do you think it is? You have so many.
I think I have multiple strengths. My capacity to nurture.
Yes.
I am a nurturer in every sense of the word. So I want everybody to feel good. Yes. I want you to feel seen, and I want you to feel loved. So I think that is one of my greatest strengths.
I think so. I think it is too. And I think you make people feel so comfortable around you, especially when you're in front of a room, Kim. The way you move in front of a room, it is so attractive. And I have heard people say such great things about you. Like when the last event that you helped MC, I remember my sister is one of the ones, and I'll short this podcast and have her listen to it. She struggles with not so much being positive, but with trusting. I remember after she seen you one day, after she was at an event, she saw you speaking. No, it was my niece, and she said, she is so good, and I love how she made everybody smile and laugh, and she knew nobody. She talked about the cake, and she said, everybody was so fit, and they were talking about fitness, and nobody wants to eat the cake, and she said, Kimberly came up there, and she said, now you want to eat that cake. Y'all better go ahead and eat that cake. And She just said it was just your personality and how you just moved about, and made everybody feel so welcome. You made everybody feel good, and you know, you checked on people and you joked around with people, and so that is an ability.
It's a blessing. It really is, and
That's your spirit.
it's intentional.
I love you, and I have really enjoyed this. I can't wait to see what God is going to do with you in 2022, Kim, and all the platforms, and you know, all of the growth, the wealth, the circles that you create, the impact that you make. I just can't wait to see it, and I just thank God that I could be a part of your life.
Today we talked about feminine realness, and we just want to make sure to draw some light and expose different biases so we can deal with each other differently. I want to thank my guest for stopping by, and thank you for listening and sharing the Bias Unexcused podcast with your tribe. Until next time, remember, voice is everything. So use yours to build someone up.